There it is. All right, so gillyShark won the coin toss and decided to take first pick here. They banned out Hanamura and Alterac Pass. Tricky Gooses banning Volskaya Foundry and Braxis Holdout. And the Tricky Gooses did decide to take us here to Cursed Hollow. And it looks like all the players are ready, so we are going to be hopping into the draft. Looks like right now. Great timing, everybody here, everybody ready for the action. And hello to everybody here in the chat. CB Fair, nice to have you here tonight. Get ready for another great match between these two teams. So let's go ahead and head into the draft. And let's see how this one starts off for us. So gillyShark did decide to take first pick here, and they will be taking the first ban as well, and they immediately go to a Lost Vikings ban. So Lost Vikings, this is a great map for them. It's actually 3 characters handled by 1 player, can really change the way the game is played. They can soak the experience in all the lanes while the rest of the team goes on a killing spree and just roams around the map looking for action. Samuro banned in return. I also saw this happen last week to Stark on this map. Stark is a world-class Samuro player, and the Tricky Gooses know it, immediately banning that out. ABATHUR, another very macro map-heavy pick here, is going to be banned out. So it looks like both teams do not want to deal with the split pressure that can be coming from these type of heroes. These are the main heroes that can really pull that off in this meta. And they're banned out here, as well as CHROMIE, long distance poke, stall on the objective. And Veggies, we saw a great Diablo from Veggies in week 1, makes it through the ban phase here. And this is a good map for Diablo, a lot of walls to connect his stuns onto. So that looks like it could be a good one for him. And let's see how Tricky Gooses want to respond here. They go with Leoric and Greymane. Greymane's Curse Bullet can do a big chunk, 35% health on a on a front line like Diablo, could be pretty menacing. Leoric as well has percentage damage that does well against Diablo. And in response, we see Tyrande and Imperious being picked out here. Tyrande, I don't think she's a very high throughput as far as the healer goes, unless she can really be auto-attacking constantly, but really where she shines is the follow-up CC that she can put behind Diablo for a little extra stun time. And I mean, she does have pretty high damage output for a healer, and we saw that in week 1. Chemo popping out top damage in one of his games in week 1 that I casted. So nothing to sneeze at there. We see an ORPHEA ban on the side of the Tricky Gooses. Another kind of mage, a little bit more of an all-in mage, but gonna be banned out here as gillyShark is still looking for their damage dealers. So that's gonna be a ban. And we see Cho'Gall, so both Cho and Gall banned in that one ban there. Pretty smart, because with Greymane and Leoric being 2 of the biggest counters to Cho'Gall, and they've already been picked, that would have been a pretty sneaky pick on the side of the Tricky Gooses. And in their name, I mean, you can tell they're gonna be tricky. So that Cho'Gall banned out. Brightwing and Falstad do give some macro pressure, because those are 2 global heroes. Brightwing and Falstad can kind of split off during an objective phase. Ooh, Kael'thas and Tracer on the side of gillyShark here. So Kael'thas you know, an all-around mage here. He can be kind of squishy into a gray main, but he does have his stun, so that, you know, if he plays safe, he can do a lot of damage. Tracer's going to be dipping and diving, attacking while moving. Very unique character in this game. And there we see VARIAN on the back end for the main tank role. Actually, pretty much a Tracer counter here. One of the main, most common Tracer counters, because of his level 1 talent Overpower getting basically resets on his bonus damage, as well as, of course, his taunt at level 4 can hold Tracer in place for, what, 1.5 seconds, 1.25 seconds, and that's enough time for a gray main to just jump in there and wipe out Tracer's health bar. So VARIAN with the point and click CC can do a number on a Tracer who's deep in enemy lines. Tyrande, not a great healer for a Tracer, because not really diving in with the Tracer, can't really heal from a distance like Malfurion. So let's see how Wono's going to perform here. That's going to be a tricky fight for him into the VARIAN, into the gray main, the Brightwing polymorph. That's a lot of CC Tracer's going to have to play around there. So let's see how that goes as we head into game number 1. And we see here on the left-hand side, we have the team gillyShark lining up here in the mid lane. We've got Chemotripsin on the Tyrande, Wono on the Tracer, Veggies on his Diablo, Chesslooter playing Imperius, and Stark on Kael'thas. On the right-hand side, calling a Twin Blades is Duck on his VARIAN, Nanani playing the Greymane, Wise on the Leoric, Birdie, aptly named, on the Falstad, and Brightwing in the bot lane right now, Carpe Diem. Here comes an Owl from Tyrande. If this connects, it does not connect. That's an instant win for the side of Tricky Gooses here. That is GG. Should be called in the chat. We're not seeing them here. VARIAN, not quite a hero until level 4. We do see him picking up Overpower. When parry blocks a hero's basic attack, that's really strong into Tracer because of her quick auto attacks. It basically gives him immediate resets on his heroic strike. Other than that, Kael'thas looking for globes, bribe stacks on Falstad. We've got the hyper shift for Brightwing and Fealty unto Death. Interesting pick for Leoric. Gives him healing, so it's kind of a lane sustain kind of pick. He heals and gets mana back. Stark going deep for that globe, knows there's not enough damage to stop him, and he grabs a second globe there. Greymane heading over to the camp is Nanani on the bot camp. Tracer already working on the siege camp up top. Imperius doing a number onto Wise here as they drop sprays in the lane. Duck, not quite a hero yet. Until he hits level 4, you're going to expect to see him playing pretty safe. You can see he's barely doing damage. He's not got his CC, and that's a dive onto Duck. Has to pop his stun. He's body blocked, and it doesn't look he's getting out, but there's a TP from Brightwing. Keeps him alive. Veggies going deep under towers looking for action. Almost got him there. Well played by Brightwing to teleport in for the heal. Greymane now working on the other camp. They've already sent the Siege Giants bot and Siege Giants top. Let's see how these teams work on this. Stark already doing a number to these bot Siege Giants. Leoric might have a little more trouble clearing the top ones. Chesslooter jumping in with the stab, does not connect. Greymane and VARIAN finishing up that Bruiser camp. And it looks like gillyShark not quite started on theirs. They're sending 3 heroes over to work on that now. Let's see if the side of Tricky Gooses can make some work in their favor in the meantime here, as the first objective is spawning bot. Duck and Nanani backing to fill up their health and mana for this first objective phase. Veggies by himself trying to clear this is not going to have a good time. But he's doing what he can and actually gets a perfect kind of stall here for the towers to be clearing out this camp for him. And let's see how the teams match up for this first objective. Taunt is online for VARIAN, so we do have a full tank for Duck now. His CC is kind of telegraphed. You can see him dive in and taunt pretty easily. Diablo looking for a rotation onto Wise on his way down. He does have his spooky hand getting him his health back. Stark trying to grab the objective here as Brightwing is still mid, trying to soak for the tricky Gooses and clear that camp. So a 5v4, and there's a taunt onto Imperius. No follow-up. That's about a 15-second cooldown. There's another stun onto Leoric. Let's see if he's going to get out of this one. That's a lot of damage, and that is the first kill of this match, going over to gillyShark. And it looks like Tricky Gooses are willing to concede this objective as they go back to clear mid on the back end of that objective phase. Wise now respawning in lane as Leoric never really has to back, heading back to the top lane, but he's being followed by a few heroes here. Let's see if he's going to get away. They're chasing further. He does not have his unstoppable anymore. And it looks like Wise is not going to get out of this one. That's a second kill for gillyShark. Nice job following him in lane and making sure he didn't get up to the top lane for free. Stark landing a combo onto Birdie in the bot lane. Owl does not connect for the follow-up. And gillyShark takes an early 2-0 in the kills here. Wono coming in for a little damage. Second one will be on the side of Tricky Gooses. Let's see if they're going to concede that. It looks like gillyShark maybe making another play on to Leoric here. A lot of CC, and there comes a telly from Brightwing. Keeps Leoric alive. But that telly is going to be on cooldown for this next objective phase. Let's see how Tricky Gooses wants to play this one. Chemo already channeling. Are they going to get this one for free? Nanani looking, but that is going to be a second objective, and that's a big win for the side of gillyShark. Falstad flies up, but just a little bit too late. And team's just about even in XP as Tricky Goose is starting their camp, but it looks like gillyShark knows about this, dives onto Carpe Diem, a lot of damage. I don't know if he's going to get out of this one, and that's a kill and a double stab to follow that up. It looks like there's more kills coming too, and a third kill onto Duck. gillyShark looking strong in this first game with that triple kill. Wise keeping his eye on them in his ghost form as they try and steal this boss away. Tricky Gooses does have this camp pushing in the bot lane. It looks like it's going to start sieging down on the towers now. But this boss play could be even bigger. Followed up with a curse, potentially with the level 10 advantage. It looks like Tricky Gooses are willing to concede the curse to be able to clear the boss. Because that boss during the curse, the buildings will stop shooting at it. And that's just going to be a lot of damage coming in. So gillyShark taking advantage of this and starting their boss to go for the double boss play. It looks like they're going to be able to cap this boss and the objective. Let's make sure they can get both here. Stark already heading up out of mana, but he is going to cap there as Birdie captures the Bruiser camp in return for some counter pressure during this curse phase. All of the buildings are disabled. All of Tricky Goose's minions are down to 1 health, so it's just instant clear. And you can see this boss is not being attacked by the towers here, so this is just tons of damage coming in for the side of gillyShark. Those minions disappearing as they push in the bot lane with this full health boss. They're looking for even more action down here. Tricky Goose is stepping out, trying to look for something, but it looks like they're going back and retreating behind their wall. Falstad coming in, a Phoenix dropped for a little bonus damage and zoning. from Kael'thas there. There's a stab over the wall from Chest Looter. What a play onto Falstad. Tons of CC. And this just exploded in gillyShark's favor. 3 kills here. The keep is almost down. Could this be an 8-minute game for gillyShark? It looks like they're looking at the core right now. They have a full health boss. 5 heroes up, and they're making a play onto VARIAN, who taunts Veggies. Look at that core just depleting. gillyShark looking strong in game 1. 8.5-minute game to the second. That is something special, man. That is... You want to say that, you know, you always want a close game, but when you see a blowout, you see a blowout. And gillyShark looking very strong in game 1. Taking that with just 8 kills in 8 minutes. And they take an easy game 1 over the tricky Gooses there. As we look at the stats, only 16,000 damage is our top damage of the game. So that's going to look funky in the, you know, the weekly stats for the players. But, I mean, that is a big win for the side of gillyShark. They just kept the advantage in their favor. They know that it took a while for the heroes of Tricky Gooses to come online, and they took advantage of that and just won straight out. No deaths. That's a perfect game for them in 8.5 minutes. Very nice. Look at that. Just didn't even get many talents here. Barely got to look at the heroic choices picked. And that is going to be GG game 1 going to gillyShark. Let's see what's going to happen here for game 2. So, all right, let's see who's going to pick the map for game 2 and where it's going to take us here. Doesn't look like we've got a lobby set up just yet. So the team's deciding, Tricky Gooses are going to be deciding if they want first pick on the next map or if they want to pick the next map because they lost in game 1. So bear with us just a second as we see where this is going to take us. And we've got a well played from CB Fair. All right, yeah, I would say that was definitely a well played match for gillyShark. I mean, that is just textbook stomp material there. But I mean, Tricky Gooses are a good team. I'm pretty sure they won their first week match. Let's look at what the standings did look like. Let me pull those up for a second while we wait for the next map. So actually, Tricky Gooses did not win in their first week, so they are looking for a reverse sweep here to get some points on the board. gillyShark lost 1-2, so they did take a map off the Beef Boys last week. So they do have 1 point on the board currently, but you know, a 2-0 tonight would give them 3 points and really put them up in the leaderboard. Tricky Gooses want to do what they can now to get up on that leaderboard. We have a really, really strong division East for Division A. A lot of really good teams here. So, you know, you really got to work for those wins. You see these very high caliber players having to work extra hard to get their points. So, looks like we've got a lobby for our second map. And it looks like all the players are in here, so we're probably going to be starting in just a few seconds here. And it looks like Tricky Gooses had the choice for map or first pick, and they decided to pick the map and take us to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Kind of a different style of map in the sense that very, very heavy rotations in the early game. You want to be clearing the minions quickly. There's going to be a lot of focus on wave clear to be able to collect the gems, to be able to turn into the spiders and get those web weavers pushing in the lane. So we can expect kind of a different strategy from both teams here. I'm expecting a lot of wave clear. And it looks like gillyShark is saying that after a typo, their name is now gillyShark, apparently, in the chat here. So I think we're just joking. gillyShark, a veteran team here in the NGS. So we can expect some high-level play from them tonight. As we head into the draft here, we are ready for Game 2. Let's go ahead and pop into the draft screen. So as I said, it was the Tricky Gooses who picked this map. So we're going to see first pick and first ban again on the side of gillyShark. And, I mean, after such a quick game, I don't expect there to be a target ban. Well, there you have it. They don't want to see the Cho'Gall in Game 2, and they're going to ban that out immediately. No funny business here. No two-headed heroes this time. And I think gillyShark was the one to play some Cho'Gall in Week 1, so that was pretty fun. Imperious banned out in return, a solo laner. You saw very strong Imperious play from Chest Looter in Game 1. That stab over the wall onto Falstad basically closed out that game. So he's going to be banned out here. GARROSH also banned out. This is a good map for GARROSH because the lanes are kind of tight. And there's a lot of flanking potential, so he can look for his flip and get a hero under tower range pretty easily. So that's going to be banned out here. Veggies immediately picking his Diablo as we saw the CHROMIE banned on the side of Tricky Gooses, who picks up Johanna and Deckard. Johanna, not a heavy CC hero, does have the Blessed Shield, but great wave clear from a tank, about as good as it gets. Kael'thas is good wave clear, can basically just demolish a wave, and I mean, we've seen Stark popping out the Kael'thas quite a bit and doing quite a number on it. So Tyrande also coming out here. Looks like they're picking what they can from Game 1 before it gets banned out on them. So 3 of the same heroes there for the side of gillyShark. Johanna and Deckard on the side of Tricky Gooses as they ban out the Tracer. They do not want to deal with that again and don't want to have to counterpick into it. She actually does pretty well into Johanna because Johanna doesn't really have point and click CC, and that's going to be banned out. Greymane also banned out in return. Very versatile damage dealer. We saw Nanani picking Greymane in Game 1, and they just don't want to deal with it again. So here we go, picks 3 and 4. Let's see what they're going to show us here. Probably going to have to pick a damage dealer now. Yrel for the solo lane and Cassia as one of their damage dealers. Popping out one of the Greek goddess skins on the Cassia there. Cassia is a unique damage dealer in that she always wants to stay in motion because she gets armor and has a lot more survivability if she doesn't stop. She can stop for maybe like half a second to attack, but then she's got to move again. So let's see, Cassia's biggest enemy is going to be CC, and Diablo with his wall stun, Tyrande follow-up CC, Kael'thas CC. That's a lot for Cassia to be paying attention to. But she does have her medallion in response to that. Sylvanas can disable towers to push in harder with the objective, so that is a good damage dealer choice here. Gives some sustained damage for Kael'thas's burst damage, and Sonya for the solo lane. Overall, a good kind of matchup with Yrel. ORPHEA here going to round out the draft. Good wave clear. You know, now that I think about it, I would say that the wave clear is lacking a little bit on the side of Tricky Gooses, but you know, with Johanna and ORPHEA, yeah, they've got plenty. I think they should do just fine. With Kael'thas and Sylvanas, I think that both teams have, like, you know, solid wave clear, not like an overbearing amount of wave clear, but just enough to keep up some strong rotations. So let's see how this game goes. Let's see if Tricky Gooses can recover from that, basically just roll over in game one, and let's see how they do with a completely different draft on a new map with a new kind of play style. Maybe they've got something set up for us here. So let's go ahead and hop into game one here, or excuse me, game two. And let's go ahead and introduce our teams for game two. gillyShark, after a very strong game one, trying to close it up with a sweep. Veggies back on his Diablo. Chest Looter now on Sonya. Wono on Sylvanas. Stark playing his Kael'thas again. And Chimotripsin back on Tyrande. That is gillyShark on the blue team. And on the red team, we have Tricky Gooses, Nana Ni on the Cassia. Duck playing Johanna. Carpe Diem on the Deckard, and Birdie playing ORPHEA. Wise on that fancy duck mount. Look at that. That thing's beautiful. As the teams meet up here in the mid lane, let's see how this first wave goes. The first wave kind of dictates who's going to have the rotational advantage, and it looks like the Tricky Gooses are willing to give that up for a safer clear. Johanna actually did not use her W on the wave, so that's going to be a little bit slower on the wave clear. As you can see, gillyShark already cleared top. Veggies in position to slow down the rotations, as you know, they already missed an XP globe up there. Veggies zoning them out. Look at that very aggressive positioning from Veggies to hold Tricky Gooses off of the rotation. And Stark easily grabbing all the gems so far. Very nice to have a backliner be able to grab the gems. It makes it easier to turn in so that your tank can be zoning while the backline is turning in the gems. It looks like Tricky Goose is able to catch up in the rotation a little bit here. Sylvanas and Tyrande already working on the bruiser camp, as Kael'thas and Diablo staying in lane to catch this, and Tricky Goose is not doing anything to really punish that. They waited for the minions. Not much they could have done. Maybe make a play onto Stark, seeing that the other characters were not in lane. Cassia looks like she's snuck to the bottom. Chest Looter might catch this out. Does see that the Siege Giant was displaced, so did know that Nanani was there momentarily. And Nanani decides not to stick around much longer. On the Goose, maybe they're all on these wonderful mounts while we don't have action. Look at that, with those strong arms. That's a perfect mount for their team. So the team's just rotating back and forth. gillyShark with a marginal advantage in XP, as they're going to be pushing in here with their camp. Let's pop up the talents here. I forgot to pop these up. Mana Addict already at 8 stacks. That's a lot of globes collected in just 2 minutes for Stark. Veggies looking for some action. Dives in, but does not get a wall stun. Now it's Veggies on the retreat. Takes some damage, but not too much. Oh, look at this deep dive from Duck to get Stark out of position. Has to burn his medallion. That's a 5-minute cooldown, but he does get out alive. Sylvanas pushing down bot with her black arrows alongside Chest Looter, giving Wise a hard time now that gillyShark has captured these siege giants. Nanani coming down to help clear. And there's a dive and a flip onto Birdie, but no follow-up damage. Veggie's going to walk back out here. No other questing talents. We see ORPHEA going with her passive, so just landing abilities is going to give her bonus damage. So that's just basic, pretty simple extra damage for her. Looks like Veggie's popping his medallion, make sure he survives there. And the flip onto Johanna, just to cause some chaos there. Wono looking for some damage onto Joe there in the back end of the Iron Skin. And it looks like blue team is going to get the first web weavers of the game there as they hit level 7. Right on time for this phase. And Black Arrow's already disabling the towers as 4 push in here. And it looks like the towers are going to be down even before the web weaver arrives, as it's coming in and has a very aggressive landing here. There are no minions. So this web weaver is probably going to actually fall pretty quickly unless there's some kind of big attack from Veggies here. They are sticking around trying to push in with it, but the web weaver already at about 30% and falling fast. That one is going to fall, but in the other lanes, the web weavers are pushing Chest Looter, getting the front wall, finish there as gillyShark making a play onto the 29 gemmed Johanna, luckily survives there. That would have been a big loss of gems for Tricky Gooses. Wono now has the Black Arrows back up, pushing in the bot lane with Chest Looter. Chemo Tripson shows up as the members of Tricky Gooses did head to the top lane to clear. gillyShark wisely heads bot to get that fort. Stark heading back for his mana. Decides to stick around. Maybe they're going to get this bot siege camp. It hasn't spawned yet, though. Tricky Gooses does have enough gems for a first turn-in on their side here. Veggies looking if they were going to step up to push with that wave, and Tricky Gooses don't fall for the bait. And it looks like Tricky Gooses are going to get that turn-in. Sonya and Stark catching this bot camp just in time to help de-push that lane so they can focus on mid and top for the clear. 4 members of gillyShark mid as 4 members of Tricky Gooses are top. Let's see if they're going to stick around to push with this objective. Looks like they're heading back to mid where their objective is already at half health. They might have been in a better position to push up top. It looks like now they're, gillyShark is going to get a free clear top. And the mid one is almost dead as well. Tricky Gooses do hit level 10. We've got the Bless Shield, Valkyrie, that's a fun one. Stay a while and listen. Eternal Feast and Ardent Defender. And they're hiding in this bush. Let's see if they're going to make a play onto Chest Looter. And that is a lot of CC. It looks like Chest Looter's not going to make it out of this one. Veggies in the Eternal Feast. Birdie going deep for some more damage, but that is going to be 1 kill. And first blood of the match all the way at level 10 going to Tricky Gooses. Very well played on that bush gank to give them a bit of an advantage. I'm not sure how many gems were lost there. I don't think it was too many. Diablo was kind of nearby, might have picked up some of the gems, and they had just had a turn-in, so they get a little bit of damage on the top wall. Tricky Gooses do have enough gems for a second turn-in, and there's a stun onto Wise, but seems to be okay. Mana Addict is complete for Stark, so Stark does have the shield now available to help him escape if he is found to be in danger. Nanani trying to turn in on Cassia currently. 13 gems going in, but that is an owl from Chemo Tripson to stall that out. Veggies also stalling. No one getting a free channel here. Making a play onto Wise. Gets out successfully. Nanani does not get the combo up, but that is a stun. And now a return fire. A big silence from Sylvanas, but it looks like Veggie's not taking enough damage to die here. A lot of low health bars for Tricky Gooses as Decker did get separated from the team. They do not have their healer, but Veggie's the first one to fall. Very nice play there to get the kill. And that's going to reset the souls on Diablo as you see him respawning immediately. He no longer has his chunky health bar. That is a big win for the Tricky Gooses in this mid game. Pretty much all heroics are on cooldown now except for Ardent Defender. So let's see if Tricky Gooses are going to be able to get this turn in. A lot of stall potential. Another stall from Chemotripsin there. Diablo with his W also to get a lot of stalls. There's a combo onto Wono. Pops the medallion to get out. Seems to be okay. But Chemotripsin with the Owls, not letting any free turn-ins. Wise looking to drop his 8 gems. Would have been enough. Jumps over the wall to get away from Veggies and Chesslooter, who were on the hunt there. Tricky Gooses need to be careful. There's plenty of gems on the side of gillyShark, and it looks like they're going to be able to get this turn in here for free. Not entirely free. I guess they did get their bruiser camp to defend this, but does look like overall a win for gillyShark. But let's see, with this level 13 advantage and this bruiser camp moving in, are they going to make a play? Duck heading in deep, and that's a medallion pop for Chesslooter. Wise jumping over the wall. Both teams do have level 13 now. We do have the super healing potions for Deckard. Really makes those potions super chunky. An extra 120% when they make this turn into this big potion here that you see on the floor. It almost feels like an ancestral heal. You'll see it turns into a big potion after a couple seconds. There's a flip onto... Oh, can he get the Ardent Defender out? He does, and does survive, but there's a silence onto Carpe Diem, who goes over to a big potion and gets healed there. There's a Valkyrie onto Chemo, but doesn't get quite through the wall there, stopped by the dead fort. Overall, a pretty good defense on the side of Tricky Gooses to survive that fight as well as clear everything out, but it looks like with Black Arrows, gillyShark is going to secure the top fort, and that is 3 forts in favor of gillyShark now after their second objective phase. Tricky Goose is trying to stabilize the lanes. Bot lane is pushed in pretty far, but Wise wants to be around. It looks like they are going to concede this this Web Weaver phase to Tricky Gooses in response for the Bruiser camp again. So similar to what the Tricky Gooses did previously. Let's see if the Tricky Gooses can get a lot out of this Web Weaver phase. They really need to equalize some of the map pressure by taking out a fort, and preferably more than one. So we can expect a team fight to break out here, and Stark checking the bush. Veggie's in deep already at half health. Chesslooter now spinning deep onto 3, gets slept, and now Wise diving in. It looks like Chesslooter gonna fall here if he can't keep spinning to win. He does get out. There's a lightning breath from Diablo onto 2, but his health is pretty low, but a big spear onto ORPHEA, and she is going down. Chesslooter securing that kill and turning that fight. Nanani next to try and get out here at 21 gems, 20% health, does get enough potions to survive there. But it looks like the rest of this Web Weaver phase will be cleared. They do get the bot fort, as none of the members of gillyShark did respond there. Stark going to clear this up while the rest of gillyShark gets ready for the boss phase. I wonder if they're going to try and do it. I mean, 2 are still dead. It looks like they have a lot of boss damage too, so already to about 75% health. Tricky Gooses, I think now realizing that this is the play, starting to head up as the boss down to about 20%. Wise trying to get in there. A big play onto, whoa, no. Nice Valkyrie secures the kill. Veggies looks like he's gonna be next. A lot of damage, but able to Q out of there is Veggies to survive. So a pretty aggressive boss call, not having Stark with them for the extra damage as he was at bot clearing lane. It stalled the boss from respawning because the Web Weaver phase was still active. And it looks like that we're going to have another Web Weaver phase for Tricky Gooses. Their third Web Weaver phase. They really need to get something out of this because they don't have very many gems left. Both teams have hit level 16. And we're seeing the Holy Renewal there is finally picked for Johanna, not the Iron Shield cooldown. So that little more sustain from the shield glare can be pretty good if you hit a lot of heroes. Let's see, it looks like all members of both teams in the top lane for this Web Weaver phase starting. Veggie's back to 100 souls now, so he will get an instant respawn if he dies. There is the Phoenix just to create some space and get the clear onto this Web Weaver. No big play from the members of Tricky Gooses to dive under the fort there, but they do have another pretty big wave in mid. Let's see if they're going to make a play with this one. They do get the front towers cleared. Johanna going in. There's a Valkyrie whiffs. So does the silence from Deckard. That's a lot of heroics used on the side of Tricky Gooses, and they're going to get the heck out of here. Looks like they're going to push in the top tower as they know the side of gillyShark has gone down to clear. They're going to push in. They don't have quite as much siege damage as gillyShark did. But they're going to need to hurry up because their heroics are on cooldown as the side of gillyShark is looking for them. Veggies looking deep, makes a play onto Wise, who dodges the overhead slam from Diablo. I saw the Diablo do the animation, but it's almost like it got out of his grip. 46 globes. He is definitely a mana addict over here. 46 globes in 16 minutes and counting. Wow, Kael'thas really put in a number on that globe count. Let's see. gillyShark does have enough gems here as we get into a pause from Nanani. So gillyShark has enough gems to turn in for their Web Weaver phase. Both teams have picked up their bruisers. It looks like Wise is reconnecting. So this could take a moment. Let's take a second to look at the stats here. Man, Chemotrypsin with top damage on the healer. He did this last week as well. It looks like the teams are ready to go back into this. Chemotrypsin, almost top damage of the game. You know, look at Cassia and ORPHEA just right behind there. So, pretty crazy. Not a lot of kill count in this game. 3 kills to 2 as we head back into the action. So it looks like gillyShark turning in bot and not being contested. The boss is started on the side of Tricky Gooses. This will be shown when the Web Weavers are connected. An owl sent up by Tyrande scouts this out. So this is definitely known by the side of gillyShark now as they start to head up here. They do not want to give this away for free. Veggies coming in deep. Stark following. Drops his Phoenix on point, but Stark is deep. Trying to get onto point. Let's see if they can secure the kill. Stark is down. The boss falls. Chest looter on point. And it looks like this is going to be a one fight for gillyShark. A cheeky boss play from Tricky Goose there, trying to be pretty tricky. Stark does die trying to just get onto point, but very well played to have Chest Looter on the point and Veggies just throwing his lightning breath onto the point. Phoenix on the point. There was just so much damage that the Tricky Gooses really couldn't do anything about it. There's a lot of time here before the members of Tricky Gooses respawn. There's a combo, a teleport combo on to Deckard, and that is going to be the finishing of the team wipe there. And it looks like with this boss and this Web Weaver phase, gillyShark gets the 2-0 domination they were looking for this week after losing 1-2 last week. And that is going to be game 2 going to gillyShark on the back end of that crazy boss fight. So as we head into the game summary, we did see some of those stats just a few seconds ago, so can't expect too much to have changed there other than a few more kills. We will be heading into an interview shortly. I'm sure someone from gillyShark will hop in there. So we see Tyrande almost on top damage. Cassia and ORPHEA just barely ahead there. Tyrande is our sole survivor of the match. And overall, pretty consistent deaths across the board. Not a very high kill game. You can see, very high tier play from both teams. And really knowing how to push the advantages when they had them. So overall, gillyShark showing their prowess here as they take game number 2 for a 2-0 sweep in this series. So let's go ahead and see if someone's going to hop in for an interview here. Looks like Kimo's going to be going in. So I'm sure he'll figure out which lobby I'm in.
Hello, Kotip.
Hey there, Kimo Tripson. Congratulations on your win tonight. How are you feeling?
It feels good. It's always good to get a 2-0 early in the season. Start off strong.
Definitely.
And, I didn't die in that whole series, so my team doesn't get to flame me.
There you go. You can't get flamed if you don't die. I mean, even if you lose, if you don't die, keeping that KDA up is, that's really what it's all about, right? So I saw last week, I casted your game last week, which was a great series. Anyone who didn't see it, I mean, God, that was a good series. I know you guys lost. I'm sure you're bitter about it, but dang, it was fun. I saw you bust out the Tyrande last week. You busted it out again, and you're popping out tons of damage. How are you pulling that off?
Owls.
So is it just owl meta?
You just throw them at people and don't miss the owls, and then you get top damage easy.
Now, I did see you miss the first owl of Cursed Hollow that you sent down the mid lane. How did that make you feel?
Like, we lost the game. That's it.
I did call it GG.
Owl, game's over. Yep, GG. That's it. No, they did a good job not being where I wanted them to be. So that was well played on them.
There was like a split second. You'll see it in the replay. You'll see a split second move out of the way. Someone almost got hit by it, but
oh, man, well played.
Yeah. So, any last comments here? We saw Veggies. Is that a priority pick? I mean, you got him in both games on his Diablo. It looked very strong. Is that kind of your priority for setting up these combos?
I mean, Diablo Tron is a staple. It's something we've been working on as long as Veggies has been on the team. He's like playing Diablo, and it worked in game 1. So we figured we'll just do it again in game 2 and go from there. It worked last week, so we'll just, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Oh, very nice. So overall, stellar performance, 8.5-minute game in game 1. What were the comms like after that?
Pretty calm. I think we felt like they really wanted the Cho'Gall, and once we banned that out, they didn't really have a backup plan. Veggies had great comms in game of catching Leoric during the rotations, so it was just kind of it was good to get that under our belt, and then game 2 didn't have to stress as much.
Very nice. Any last comments or shout outs for this series?
Yeah, so shout outs to Gillyweed. She's the best. Without her, we would not be a team. Shout outs to my teammates for putting in the hard work in the off season and going into this season. Flaming me when I die. Shout out to Stark in that last game for hard inting for that boss.
That was
That's
epic.
Straight up. That was and shout outs to our newest member Wono. Happy to play with him. Shout out to Bahamut and Bandit. Hope they get to cast us soon. Oh, next week I think. Shout out to you for casting our first 2 series. Glad we gave you some exciting matches.
Absolutely.
And shout outs to Tricky Gooses. They made us think about what our comps were gonna do.
Nice. Well, overall, a great series for you guys. I'm sure you guys are happy. So, congratulations and good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right, guys. So that is my stream for tonight. We see gillyShark coming out strong with a 2-0 victory over the Tricky Gooses, snagging 3 points in their Week 2 match here. Overall, Div A East is going to be a crazy one. A lot of good players here, a lot of good teams, a lot of veteran teams. So make sure you catch a lot of these Div A matches. I'm expecting a lot of great games all season long, and I'm expecting them to be very closely contested. So I appreciate you guys sticking around with me this evening, and I will be back next week for some week 3 matches. So hit that follow button and catch me when I'm streaming again. So I appreciate you being here, and that is it for tonight. Keep it up.